Right, so we got that new cache all finished, that new sim finished. And I'm just watching a flipbook of it here. So yeah, it's looking better than before. You can see the sleeve comes off at a different time now. It's got before the sleeve was getting tangled up inside. You know, we got the boot flying off and the sleeve flying off at the back. Everything's ripped up. All looks good. And then if I remember, I think it was like frame 40 something. The arm was getting kind of really tangled up, so that's not happening anymore, which is great. Okay, so now let's take a look at this vellum post process. I'm going to hide other objects there just to get rid of the crocodile for a moment. And what this post process does has a few different things that it can do for you. You can apply welds. So if we go, let's see, if we take a look here, we can see some of the welds. If I turn them off, you can see the difference there, especially if I was to subdivide this, okay, and then turn this weld off, you'll see the difference more clearly there. So this is basically fusing the welded points together into one smooth geometry. You can't tell that there's any kind of seam there if I turn it off. So these are, you know, they're not broken in terms of the sim, but you can see it, right? And if we go to the first frame where none of them should be broken, you could probably still notice them maybe. Yeah, can you see that line there? And then if I turn that on, it should disappear. Great. I'm not actually going to subdivide it here. I'll do it later, just have a bit more control. But what we can do, which is quite handy, is just a bit of blurring, which will smooth things out. Now, I don't want to blur the body, so what I'm going to do is put just not the hunter. So we got the hunter group there, so you can see the difference. So it's just smoothing the clothes and the boots a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to push that up to 0.2. Just get a nice bit of smoothing there. Let's see, and then we can use this detangle as well. We probably don't need it here, but when you're doing a heavy amount of subdividing or blurring, then that can push the cloth into itself, and this will kind of undo that, you know, and you can turn the passes up and down. You can see there's something going on there. It's trying to kind of clean itself up. I believe that's on 5 or something. Okay, right, and let's drop a null for this. Drop an out on that. And then I'm going to jump back into my hunter because, I'm just going to press escape, make sure that's not calculating. So we're going to use the original mesh. I'm going to grab it from here where I've got, you know, this sculpted part. I'm going to drop a null on this, and we're going to point deform this, right? So I'm going to call this out body, and then I want the boots as well. However, it would be handy to have the groups, I think. Well, just in case, I think we should be able to just take these out and drop them here, because I want the groups, but I don't want this part deleted at the top. We might do that for the render, but I'd like to make that choice later. I definitely don't want it to be remeshed, okay? So I want here, and these groups should filter through still, even though we've done it before the remesh. Just to double check, we can point group. So if we make a point selection, press 9, and then select by group, you can see there we've got right boots. We've still got the groups, okay? So yeah, here I'll just say out boots, okay? And let's see, I also want the hunter, let me just turn that off, point selection, but not naked, with all his clothes and the gun. You know, we'll do a kind of really simple sim with a gun later. So let's drop another null here to get this information. So this will be out hunter full. Cool. Okay, so we'll bring all that into a new geometry node. Turn that off. And let's call this hunter post sim, maybe. Okay, and then jump in here and then grab some object merges. So obviously we'll definitely want the cache. So I'll grab that. We will want the body. So where are you? Hunter out body. Yep. And what else? The boots. Boots. I'll explain why we're doing these separately in a moment. And also the hunter full. Cool. Okay, so we got all that information coming in. And now we're going to do some point deforms with this. So, first of all, so we're not going to be point deforming or doing anything with the cloth, okay? So I'm just going to split that out straight away. Drop a split. A split is just basically delete and don't delete. But it's just, I don't know, it looks a bit nicer. A bit more clear. So we're going to delete the boots. I'll just do boots with, oh no, not boots, sorry, clothes. So top and the bottoms, where are they? Bottoms, okay, so clothes. I'll put, oops, split clothes here. I don't know why that has an error. Why do you have an error? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, and so I'm going to use a point deform. We did use it earlier, but this is probably more for what it was, you know, originally developed, or kind of, you know, the more what it should be used for. So we're going to be, we need to plug in a mesh to deform, which will be the body. We need to, if we invert that, so then we'll get the body out to this side. Okay, so we need the thing to deform, the body, the rest, so that's something that's not moving. So whenever you get, there are a few nodes which ask for a rest point lattice or a rest version of your geometry, just drop a time shift and put that to the first frame of the animation that you've got, which for us is frame 140, which is just the frame I'm on now. So yeah, delete channel and just type in 140 there. And then into the last port is the actual deformed pieces. Okay, so basically the output will be this geometry with this animation applied to it, hopefully. So let's see if we get something with that. So there we go. You can see we've got this original geometry with this mesh. Okay, so we'll get a nice mesh, and you can play around here with the capture settings. Okay, so the radius is how far from the points of of this animation do they, how much control will they have, and then, you know, how many points do they look for, with a minimum and a maximum. I'm going to bring these down a bit. 0.03 I think is okay. But also what I want to do, okay, is do the shoes separately. So I'm going to put another split here. I'll do it, let me think how to do this tidily. Well, let's just, yeah, drop in a split here and put boots. Okay, and then another point deform, but now we're getting it all mixed up because it's, you know, it doesn't know what it's doing. So let's bring in the boots. Oops, that goes in there. Let's bring in the boots here, and this needs to be inverted, so then we get the boots out of the here. Let me see. Yeah, and then a time shift. The same as this. Oh no, it's already... What am I doing? Oh, I need another split. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, so this will be the rest point here, and then I'll drop another split. It kind of gets a bit, can get a bit tangled up this for the animated version of it. Cool, and then this will go in there. Let's see. There we go. That's correct. Okay, so we've got. I feel like that's wrong. I think that shouldn't be inverted. Yeah. And neither should this. There we go. Let me just drop a null just to be double sure. So we've got boots coming in there, which are not animated, boots which are animated, and then the you know, fancy, the nice geometry boots there. Cool. Okay. And yeah, I'll keep this at the same one, but we can play around with that. The reason I wanted to do these separate because, excuse me, because that one boot flies away from this body, you can get some weird kind of stretching geometry if parts of geometry come up, you know, separate. So if we merge these up again after, down here, okay. So when the boot flies off, yeah, you can get some weird geometry when you've got separate pieces. So yeah, if this, you know, maybe a better way to do this, if you had lots of separate pieces of geometry, it could be a good idea to have some kind of a for each loop to encompass all of this. But in our case, I think this should work fine. Especially if you had, you know, we're not point deforming the clothes, but if you had all these lots of different pieces of clothes, you know, flying around all over the place, it probably would be a good idea to set up some kind of for each loop running over, iterating each piece of geometry that you're doing. Okay, but for us, we basically got the two, so it's not too much of a problem. So there we need to, I think we need normals somewhere. Oops. Maybe on the body or the, oh, I think on the clothes it gets stripped off after the simulation, doesn't it? So that's pretty much it. So there we've got now our nice geometry with our clothes and the boots. Okay, the original geometry of the boots. So the you know, the textures should apply nicely to them when we put them on. We could subdivide this now after the fact. After all this is done, I'm going to set it to loop. Let's give us triangles, and yeah, that's pretty much it done. One other thing we could do is he doesn't have any eyeballs or hair or anything, so here we can get those. So let's just delete his eyelashes, his beard, what else? His eyes. I think that's it. Does he have any? I don't think he has any hair anyway. He's bald. Yeah. Okay, and then just delete non-selected, time shift that, frame, I think we need 1:1 for this one. Yeah. Delete channels, 1:1, and then merge that with the body. And that should just kind of follow along nicely with everything. Jump down here, and now, oops, he's got his eyelashes and eyeballs and his beard as well. Cool. What else? So what we could do also with this, if we drop a switch here at the bottom, we might do this in a different way later, but just for now, for visualization. And then our simulation starts at frame $F 240, no, 140, sorry. So if we say $F more than 140, what am I doing? Opening Dropbox for some reason. 140 there. So this means this will evaluate as true once we are over 140, which we are at the moment. I just need to switch these inputs. Okay, so at 140 we'll see this, and then before 140 we'll see this animation. So that means which will look a bit weird because we don't have you know, the colors and everything aren't all the same. If I come down here, so then at frame 140 we'll switch to our simulation down here. Cool. Okay, and then maybe we can just come out here to visualize everything. We can do a flipbook of that. We can do a flipbook of the whole thing, why not? Maybe go to the first frame and we'll watch this. Okay, let's check it out. So yeah, obviously we'll get a bit of a weird kind of click between the two because the color is different and the gun disappears, but yeah, it looks nicer now. We've got much nicer geometry, the original body geometry and boots. The clothes are not, but they, you know, they look pretty good anyway. And with textures applied, they'll look even better. But yeah, it looks cool.